Hey guys, my name is Ryan. I'm a tutor in the Econ Tutoring Center. Today I'm going to talk about the Solow model a little bit, and specifically how you find what we say is the steady state capital level. Remember, notation language varies by professor, so make sure that what we're using is the same as your professors. Okay, so this is what we call the Solow model, essentially. We have this production function A, which is a technology parameter, times f of k and h, where f of k and h is just some function that takes in a certain level of capital, physical capital k, and a certain level of human capital h, and tells you how much output you're going to end up with. So this is equal to your y. So tell me what my technology is, tell me what my capital and my physical and human capital are, and I'll tell you how much output there will be. This straight line here, actually I'll do this one first. So this function here is that same function times s, which is your saving rate. So we're going to have a certain amount of output y, right? So this is just equal to s times y, and so we're going to save a certain fraction of it, which is s. So the difference between that, so the vertical distance between these two lines here, right, is always going to be the difference between what's being saved and total output, which we say is consumption. So this is C, consumption, essentially. So if you want, this is really the distance here between these two curves is really 1 minus S times Y, right? It's the fraction of total output that isn't being saved, essentially. Okay, so that's not super important for the questions that we'll be answering today, but it helps give some intuition. So the last thing that's important to know before I get into what this curve is that savings is equal to investment. So it's the amount that is being invested to restock the capital. Okay. So D is the depreciation rate of capital. So we say that capital depreciates at some constant rate, some percentage for every period, and then this is the rate that capital is being resupplied, right? So let's say that we're at some initially we're at some capital level here, right? Then capital is depreciating faster than capital is being resupplied with investment from savings, right? So what's going to happen is that in the next period you're going to end up with less capital than you have now because the capital in the previous period depreciated and we didn't invest enough to keep it at that level. So maybe we'll move down here somewhere to some lower capital level, and then at that level we're saving more than capital is depreciating. So more capital is being supplied from investment from savings than is being depreciated. So the capital stock is going to increase, and you can see how we'll kind of go back and forth here until you end up at this level here, K star, which is our steady state level of capital. And so once you're here, where depreciation, the depreciation on capital is just equal to the amount of investment needed to keep that level of capital, you'll stay there. There's nothing in the system that'll make you move. And so that gives us some steady state level of savings or investment and a steady state level of total output. And obviously, like I said before, the difference between those two is your steady state level of consumption. Okay, so I hope that helped explain the Solow model a little bit and how we end up with this steady state capital and steady state other variables. If you have any more questions, come into the Econ Tutoring Center.